I wanna take you to a gay bar. I wanna take you to a gay bar. I wanna gay bar, gay bar. It's not a war. It's not a nuclear war. It's a gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. It's a gay bar. But do you have any money? I wanna spend all your money. That's a gay bar, gay bar, gay bar.
Hey there, Kitchen Mutants. It is Friday night. I am your favorite daddy man in the kitchen, and that can only mean one thing. That's right. Once again, it is time for Mutant Cafe Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the kitchen. Hold on. That is so needed this week. Hey, y'all, what's going on? Anything special going on this week? Any news? Anything in the tweets? Maybe? I feel like I've missed a lot. Anything going on? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And maybe we'll talk about it a little later. We'll see. This is not a hard recipe this week. This is going to be a very short show unless I start ranting about, various things like letters and who can use them and blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, the first and foremost, we are making an apple Dutch baby as part of the current series that we're doing, which is the State Fair food. Who doesn't like a Dutch baby? And we are topping ours with a delicious cinnamon, vanilla, maple apple, which is amazing on top of this. So a Dutch baby, basically, if you've never seen it at your carnival or your state fair, it's sort of like an elephant ear. It's a big, old, puffy, pancake-like kind of dough that usually gets filled with fruit or chocolate. It'd be amazing with Nutella, sliced up strawberries, and bananas is amazing in this. I've also seen, like a chocolate with some nuts. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can also make it savory. I've seen it with sausage and a little bit of cheese and almost kind of like a pizza. So it is unbelievably easy. This is one of the quickest recipes we've ever done. This one might even be the peas of lightness, which is Brittany's favorite. I keep putting this beer so far away. So let us get started. The very first thing you're gonna do, let's do the ingredients like we always do, shall we? All right, apple Dutch baby. You need 3 tablespoons of butter plus 2 tablespoons of butter. I have 3 and 3 because who minds an extra tablespoon of butter? 3 eggs that are, brought up to room temperature. You always want any kind of dairy or eggs or anything like that when you're baking to be up to room temperature, unless the recipe specifies cold. Sometimes you need the butter super cold. Cup of flour. And someone asked earlier this week, I always use an all-purpose flour unless I tell you differently. Very rarely do I use something other than an all-purpose flour. 3/4 cups of milk, whole milk, please, brought up to room temperature. If yours is not up to room temperature, just throw it in that microwave for about 20 seconds and you'll be good to go. 1 tablespoon of the regular granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We got the bourbon vanilla going again tonight. A pinch of salt, 2 large apples or 3 medium apples, 1 tablespoon of the dark brown sugar. You can use light if that's all you got. 1/3 of maple syrup. Always use the best maple syrup you can find. Some of the more Mrs. Butterworthy kind of maple syrup, completely fine, but lots of corn syrup added in there. Depending on how you feel about that, I'm not a fan. So spend a little more on the extra expensive stuff because it tastes way better. It's a lot more natural and You're not going to use a lot in this. So pancakes, I get it. But for this, you're using so little. Get the good stuff. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then confectioner's sugar that goes on it at the end. That's the ingredients. So we've got that oven cranked up to 400 and it's preheated. What we're going to do is we are going to take 3 tablespoons of that butter, right into our 9 to 10 inch cast iron skillet, and it is going in the oven right now to melt that butter. Hey, y'all. Hey there. All right. And while that is in there, whoops, cord out of there, we are going to make the batter. Y'all know I'm not a baker. This is one of my favorite recipes for non-bakers because we're literally going to throw everything in this blender, whirl it up, and that's it. That is the dough, or the treat. We're drinking a lot today. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all those first ingredients, okay? We're going to take the 3 eggs right in the blender. Oh, not the shell. Oh, definitely not the shell. The shell really wants to be part of your Dutch baby. 2 and 3. Boop. Oh, and I didn't even mention. Hello, it is last driving night, trauma night, trauma. So divisive, I love it because the last driving is never divisive. Flour in the blender. All right. What else is going in? That 3/4 cups of milk is going in the blender. See how all these things go in the blender so nicely? They're getting along, not arguing. 1 tablespoon of sugar in the blender. Look at that. A little bit of vanilla. It's 2 teaspoons. Sure, that's 2 teaspoons. Vanilla. Pinch of salt. So this recipe is real strenuous. That's it. Blend it up. That is literally it. We're going to scrape that down. Get all that stuff off the sides. Lots of flour hanging out on the sides. Definitely don't want a clumpy Dutch baby. All right, man. That smells so good. It's almost like an eggnog smell. All right, let's hit that one. Okay. And that's it. There we go. Let's turn this fan down. Smoke burn. We're done. Anyone keep it up with me? That's like 4 or 5 drinks now. All right, that is literally it. We're going to give that one more minute for that butter to go. So what's going to happen is throw the butter that's in that pan. We're going to coat that pan up. Throw the remaining butter in here just for a little bit of fat. Man, that got out. And then we are going to put that batter in the hot pan, which is going to immediately sear the bottom and the lower sides of that Dutch baby, which then what's going to happen is that extremely hot oven and all the air that we just put into that batter are going to react together, and that sucker is going to puff up huge. It's amazing how big it gets. It doesn't overflow. It's worked perfectly for me so far, so I probably just jinxed myself. Let's do this one more time. And now we're going to grab it out. Anyone got a question, make sure you tell Hubs. If you're in the YouTube, make sure you @ Mutant Cafe, and Hubs will get that question to me, and I'll try to answer it for you. There you go. That's what we want to see. Melted butter. So we're going to just take the butter, swirl it around the bottom really well. Be careful, this pan is super hot. And then all this butter's going right in there. Okay? Put this down on your table on a trivet because it's super hot. Give it one more quick blend. That's it. Get it in the pan. There you go. Now, this is not a super sweet batter. That's why we're putting the super sweet topping on it. You can always add an extra tablespoon of sugar in there if you like your stuff a little sweeter. Okay. There we go. Let's get this pan back in the oven. 20 minutes. That's it. That's all it takes. That oven is super hot. It'll get so puffy. Hi again. 20 minutes. Let's get that on the timer. All right. Now let's get to this pan that is screaming hot. All we're going to do is we're going to cut these apples. You've seen me do it before. Let's get this going. Okay. Butter in the pan. And again, I'm using 3 tablespoons. Recipe calls for 2. No worries about extra butter. Okay, and while that melts, we're going to take the apple, flat side down, obviously. We're going to cut straight down the side for a half, down the next side for a half, and then chunk off those quarters. Okay, so all you're left with is a quart. Do that a second time. Quarter. Right. One more time. Get the stuff away. Hopefully you can see that.
I have a question. They want to know what the oven temp is.
400 degrees. A very piping hot 400 degrees. Okay? Know your oven too, by the way. Hopefully you've got a temperature gauge in your oven, unless you have a brand new oven, because butter is, man, it was hot. Because ovens quickly start losing the capability to accurately keep the temperature. So, and even if you got a new oven, the temperature gauges are not the best generally. So you want one of those little temperature thermometers, I guess is the word I'm looking for, temperature gauge, whatever, that hangs off of the rack, off of your top rack. Those are awesome. Those keep a much better temperature gauge. So 400 degrees, and if your oven, runs a little wonky, 425. If it runs a little hot, take it down to 375. So the quarters, we're really just kind of taking in thirds. You want to go as thin as you can possibly go here. Again, making sure you got the flat ends down so it's not rocking and rolling and cutting your fingers. If you can only do halves, that's fine. You're just going to want to cut these or cook these apples for a minute longer. And then with these halves, we're just going to kind of cut them into slices. All right, again, fairly thin. Thinner you can get them, the less time you have to cook them, or the softer they get, obviously. Okay, let's go in the butter. That pan calmed down. Now I can smell that butter. I love the smell of brown butter. Okay. I'm using Fuji apples here. Use what you like. This recipe is all about use what you like. Again, if you don't want to use these apples, mixed berries, frozen mixed berries are delicious. Unfreeze them, leave them wet. Take half a cup of water, about a quarter cup of sugar. Get that in a pan, and maybe a little bit of I get that on a pan, bring it up to a boil. You're making simple syrup, add some lemon juice or some lemon zest. At the very last minute, throw in some vanilla. Then put your berries in. You got a nice little berry pie going on. Again, the Nutella. I can't say enough about Nutella if you've never had it. It's a hazelnut spread. It is delicious. It's not just chocolate. It's chocolate and hazelnuts. That's delicious. It's really all about what you like. So, last drive-in. We know we're getting Uncle Lloyd Kaufman and his crazy ass. He already told us that we're watching Troma's War. Spoiler. If you avoid spoilers, I apologize. Spoiler. He spoiled that. Shudder, Last Drive-In, Joe Bob, Darcy, whoever happens to maybe hear this, maybe, probably not, maybe. Y'all need a little thing called a non-disclosure agreement. Whatever. We don't mind knowing the movies. Actually, I'd like to know the movies, but whatever. I know some people like their surprises, and to each their own. To each right to their opinion.
I have a question. They want to know if you can substitute almond butter for instead of Nutella.
100%. Almond butter would be great. Almond butter, and again, maybe some. Man, so I'm trying to think what you could do with an almond butter. Maybe an almond butter, and maybe quickly in the microwave, get a little bit of some marshmallow fluff loosened up and spread it over that almond butter would be pretty amazing. You could definitely take some orange marmalade with some almond butter would be great. Honestly, you guys, anything you normally like in a dessert goes so well with these Dutch babies. This Dutch baby it's just a crust. So you're kind of making a pie. It's just not a sweet crust. It's just a puffy, light kind of crust. That's really what you're getting. It's like an elephant ear again. Someone asked for elephant ears. That's kind of why we're doing this one. So basically what we're doing is we're just softening these apples.
Mutant Foodie wants to know if you're using berries, would I still start with the melted butter in the pan?
No. I wouldn't even cook the berries. Quickly. Butter, maybe not. I'm trying to think. Butter and berries, probably not. I probably wouldn't do berries. Maybe what you could do in the pan is a little bit of champagne, and then a little bit of sugar, and then throw your berries in, and that's going to make a nice little delicious champagne or Prosecco sauce. That would be pretty awesome. I would like that. But I don't know that I'd put butter with the berries. Pears would be great. And again, you can embellish this. I tried to keep it really simple because this was such a simple recipe. Put some walnuts in here if you want. You could put some golden raisins in here. It would be amazing. Yeah, definitely no butter with the berries. I don't think butter and berries. Doesn't sound good to me. I mean, it's your Dutch baby, so you do what you want. I'm all about do what you want this week. Because literally, do what you want. Fuck censorship. All that good stuff. Trying not to be fired up. Darcy said today is a day of celebration, so I'm trying to let it be a day of celebration. But man, I got a lot to say, and I'm biting my tongue. I've already said a lot. I'm trying to bite my tongue. Let's just put it this way. I don't mind if an old white man tells the LGBTQ community what he thinks, because it's what he thinks, okay? It's not what you have to think. It's not what I have to think. It's not what Hub has to think. It's what he thinks. And he has every right to say what he thinks. He's done it for 40 fucking years, okay? Almost, not quite, but 40 years. Obviously, the man knows what he's doing. Hollywood is not an easy city to live in. Hollywood is not an easy city to make a career in. And he's done it for 40 years. So shut the fuck up. It's just pretty much the moral of that story. The man can say whatever the fuck he wants. I'm going to keep saying fuck. Because it's my show. There's a little X up in that corner, kind of over there. Push it real, real hard for Daddy Man if you don't want to listen to this.
Pete says, how do you like Toxic Avenger 2?
Love it. I just saw it for the first time with the Killer Horror Critics Killer Saturdays with Killer Horror Critic. I just saw it for the first time. I'm not a huge trauma person. I can tell you this. I have seen probably half of the trauma movies, maybe a third or something. I'm not going to give an exact percentage. But the caveat is I saw them in college, which means I was either high or drunk or both. So I've seen them. I haven't seen them. I do like the second Toxic Avengers. I had a blast with that movie. How fun is that? I know I've seen the first one. I thought I hadn't. And in fact, I think that night I said I hadn't. And then I went back to watch it, and I'm like, I've totally seen this. So again, drunk or high, college, whatever. I've seen a lot of the movies. Tonight's is interesting if it is trauma war. Oh, and let's talk about that right now, too, because everyone fasten your seatbelts because this week was nothing. I'm already prepared for it. There's going to be a giant outcry about trauma wars from the community that's already outcrying. And just, again, fuck you. Lloyd Kaufman knows exactly what he's doing. He is just as much of a satirist as Joe Bob is. Sorry, I keep saying fuck. I'm not sorry, but like there is a character in there that is going to drive some people crazy. And quite frankly, I can't fucking wait. I know which character it is. It's not offensive to me, and I'm part of the community that's going to have outrage. So get over it. People really need to get over it. Right now, really, like how many thousands and thousands of people dying right now on top of the normal people that are dying and being oppressed, and you're worried about some, old cowboy speaking his mind, which he has a free right to do. It's so fortuitous that I have a recipe where there's nothing to do but sit here and stir and, flap my gums. Oh, by the way, faggot for Joe Bob. And yes, this t-shirt does say faggot. Because again, I can say what I want. Watch it. Unsubscribe. Don't care. Quite frankly, if you don't think that people have the right to say what they want, I don't want you to subscribe. So bye. That's pretty much what I've said to the 24 people that have blocked me in the past 3 days. Bye. All right, these are almost done. We got a couple minutes going. So what we're going to do now is get this brown sugar in there. We didn't want to put the brown sugar in too early because it'll get a little too caramely. And sugar definitely can over-caramelize and it starts to taste kind of burnt. This brown sugar is just sweetening these apples up a little bit. If you're using some super sweet apples, you may not even want the brown sugar in here, but it gives it a nice little undercoating, which I love. And again, I'm going to put just a touch of salt. I know it seems creepy that you put salt in a sweet thing, but that salt really brings out the sweetness. Just like me, salty and sweet. Yeah, I know you could hear Hub's eye roll from that comment. Poor Hubs. Can we give it up for Hubs for putting up with my bullshit? I've been in the chat room right now. Give Hubs a hug for putting up with my bullshit for so long. All right. Oh, God, those taste good. Don't go too much on these. They're really close because what will happen is they'll start disintegrating and then you get applesauce and that's not pretty. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go syrup. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, cinnamon and then syrup. Apples out of the way. Salt out of the way. All right, cinnamon first. Nice big hefty pinch of that cinnamon. Okay. And next is the maple syrup. 1/3 of a cup. This is a lot to me. Started with a half in the first round, and that was way too much. So you may want a half if you like it super, super sweet. I'm going 1/3, and I think 1/3 is even a little sweeter than I would normally go. But it's all right. And really what the syrup is doing is you could be making a sauce with lemon juice and sugar and cornstarch and things like that. Because normally when you make an apple pie, that's what you do. But it's cooking in the oven for a while. And those chemical reactions are happening. And it's making a nice, thick sauce. What this maple syrup is doing is it's already a nice, thick sauce. So you're kind of cutting some corners here. We're trying to go easy this week. We've been frying a lot. We've been doing a lot. We've all been putting up with a lot of bullshit. So let's go easy. Cheers. Let's get that stirred around. Oh, God, that smells good. There's nothing like apple pie. What's your favorite pie? I might make a pie. We do have that Sunday series that I did last month. Man, was that last month or has that been 2 months now? It's time to get back on the stick. Where I made homemade pasta and I really liked it. It was a 90-minute show. We had a nice handful of people who stayed almost the entire thing or the entire thing. And that was super fun. So I'd like to do that again. So if you guys have some thoughts on recipes that take a little longer, where I can just kind of kick back, chat with you guys for an hour and a half while we're spreading out and doing that long kind of recipe, let me know. I may be doing some Bavarian pretzels, trying to work that recipe out. It's kind of hard. It is only about an hour and a half, but it's actually closer to 2, and I don't want to keep you guys for 2 hours. Nobody needs to hear me for 2 hours. Right, Hubs?
I'm sorry, what?
Such a smart ass. Anyhow, any more questions, Hub?
We're getting comments about peach pie, so.
Ooh, peach pie would be great. You could definitely slice the peaches up the exact same as you did here. In fact, I'd use the maple syrup with that peach. Peach blueberry would be amazing. I'm a big blueberry fan. Got a lot of antioxidants. It's very good for you. So this is loose, and it's fine. That's exactly what you want. You want this to be loose. It's going to hit that crust, and that crust is nice and sealed up. And it's just going to sit on that crust. It's not going to soak in too much. I'm just going to keep these apples nice and yum. Okay. We're pretty close. Yeah, about 3 minutes until that's ready. All right, so we're just going to go like this. All right, guesses for tonight's movies from the audience. I obviously Troma's War. Yes, I love it. I went for the longest time praying and thinking it was going to be Tobe Hooper. I just completely lost my train of thought. Tobe Hooper's Life Force, because that is an amazing movie. And it's definitely coming from an independent director who then was given a huge budget for Life Force, and man, did he fuck that movie up. It's a perfect last drive-in movie, but it's a shit show of a movie, too. It's got so much going on. Nobody knows what's going on. And more boobs than you can count. I don't even know how Joe Bob... Well, it's one person, but the person's got the boobs out the whole entire movie. I guess that still only counts as 2 boobs. We're not counting per scene. But that was a movie I went with for a long, long time. But I turned my guesses in today, and I guessed The Thing. The Thing popped in my head last night. And I'm probably really stupid for going with the all of a sudden guess, but I mean, that's another great independent director, although Joe Bob said Halloween wasn't super independent, but great independent director, and then they gave him a huge, huge budget and all kinds of superstars, and it bombed, believe it or not. For those of you youngins in the audience.
Questions. What would you substitute cinnamon if you're allergic to it?
Good question. Nutmeg? I would go nutmeg. Nutmeg's an awesome, it's an actual nut. You can get it ground up already. I prefer to get the actual nut, and on your grater, just kind of grate it. It's got a very similar kind of earthy, it's a nut coming from a tree, where cinnamon is actually the bark of a tree, believe it or not. So it's still got that earthy kind of yummy flavor, so I would go with nutmeg.
And when you poured the hot butter into the batter, were you worried it would start cooking the egg early?
No. Nope. It's a super tiny amount of butter. I see what you're saying, but we quickly blended it, so it got dispersed through that so quickly that, no, you don't have to worry about that. And it also went right in the oven, so.
Could you use allspice or clove instead of cinnamon?
Allspice has cinnamon, so I wouldn't use an allspice. But yeah, you could use a clove. Cloves are powerful, as you probably know, so I would use a little tiny bit. But you could definitely use clove. I guess, what's good is, again, blueberries. Cloves and blueberries are surprisingly good together. But yeah, cloves are fine. Cloves are in allspice. Again, it's a bummer you're allergic to cinnamon because, man, cinnamon's so good. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
So, The Thing bombed. Completely bombed at the box office. Horrible, horrible, horrible. It's just, in the past, however long, 15, 20 years, everybody's jumped on The Thing. So I actually tweeted today because everybody was like, oh my God, The Thing, The Thing. So yes, we're all into Joe Bob's Thing. Upsized. Told you it was going to be a blue show. I'm pissed off tonight. Just tired of the fucking noise. Change the goddamn channel. How hard is it? Maybe it's because we don't have clickers anymore, or don't have to get up and actually, we got The Thing, so we all forget that we can change the fucking channel if you don't want to watch what's on the channel. Turn it. I got what you're trying to say. It's hurting the community. It's this and that. It's also called satire. There is a thing called satire. Look up George Carlin. Okay? Satire is really, really old. And again, the man's been doing it for 35, 40 fucking years. He knows what he's doing. Long before even your parents were born, those of you who are screaming, or a lot of you who are screaming. I'm sorry, I'm making a lot of generalizations, and I don't give a fuck because they're not watching anyhow. Because they don't watch the show anyhow. They just like to make a mess. Lots of people like to blow things up and walk away. I've said it many, 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 many times over the past couple days. If you go to a party and you don't like the party, leave the fucking party. Don't call the cops and cancel the party. Leave the party. Go have your own party. There's lots of parties going on around town. So annoying. All right, we're done. Yay, Dutch baby. Yay. What? I think I just said hallelujah. Oh, look at that, y'all. Ah, Dutch baby. Oh, that's so good. Isn't that magic? I love it. I love it. Little falling on the one side, but who cares? That's the charm of the Dutch baby. In fact, that's perfect because then you guys will be able to see it on the camera. Actually, kind of, yeah, you can see it up there. You can sort of see it down there. All right, that's it. So, oh, the rack. I completely forgot the whole rack process. All right, what we're going to do. How did I forget this part? We're going to take a rack. You want to get it out of this pan so it doesn't keep cooking. Because if it keeps cooking, it's going to burn on the bottom. And because you had so much butter going on, this should slide right out. I'm just going to kind of take it around the edges just to make sure. Yeah, I can feel it's ready to go. Just keep working if you feel a little stuck spot. There we go. Out on that rack and let it cool on that rack. Back in the oven. Ah, that's hot. Cast iron gets hot, y'all. Okay, so what we're doing is we're letting it cool on the rack. And the reason we don't want to let it cool in the pan, A, the pan is going to keep cooking it and it might kind of burn. But B, it would get a lot of condensation. And so by putting it on a rack like this, a cookie rack, it's allowing the steam on the bottom to kind of dissipate and not get soggy because no one likes soggy bottom. That's for Jonko. I think he's watching tonight. Beer numero 2 for this quick episode. 2 beers. I think it's a first for the last drive-in episode. All right, and we're done, really. We're going to take these yummy, yummy apples. There's the beauty shot. We're going to slowly drizzle those apples into this Dutch baby. You can be pretty and fancy if you want to take your time. Quite frankly, I'd rather spend that time eating this yummy, yummy Dutch baby. Get all those apples in there. Pile it high. Okay, get all those apples in there. Spread them out evenly so every slice gets a nice, big, healthy chunk of those apples. And then take all this delicious juice right there. Oh, pour it out, pour it out, pour it out. Oh, God, that looks so good. Come on. Pouring syrup. Maple syrup porn. Since we're talking about the last drive-in. Back to Rabbit from the original marathon. Maple syrup porn. Love it. Canadian. All right. Last things last. We're going to sprinkle this with just a touch of powdered sugar, mostly on those edges. Okay, get some in the center just to make it look pretty when you present it, but honestly, the stuff in the center is going to just quickly melt in there. But hey, it's sugar. Who cares? There you go.
Scott.
That's your Dutch baby. Got a question?
Scott, wants to know if that's the national beer of Texas you're drinking.
And of course, well, maybe I've heard from Texans other than Joe Bob that this is what they put like on their bar to look cool and hippie or hipstery. The Lone Star. I personally like it. It's a very light IPA, and yes, I am drinking the Lone Star. And later on, you're gonna get, if you didn't know, there's these fun little, I forget what they're called, little picture puzzles inside the cap. Huh? Ciphers, there you go. And I'm going to post these later during the halftime in between movies so y'all can try to guess. I should start giving away prizes for these. So, yes, this is Lone Star. Thank you, Scott, for reminding me that I have a beer that I need to finish. That's it. Back to the Dutch Baby. That's why we're here. That's it. That is the Dutch Baby. Delicious. Man, it smells good. I really wish you guys could smell as well as see. See how easy that was? And there's endless possibilities. Like I said, man, you want to go like healthy and savory, you can get some broccoli on there, get some sausage, treat it like a pizza. This is a beautiful, this one didn't puff up nearly as much as I'd like it to, but that's fine. Beautiful Dutch Baby. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You deserve this. Thank you all for putting up with my foul mouth, my foul faggot mouth. I love that word. Again. And I will see you guys in the tweets. The last drive-in is coming up. What time is it, Hubs?
6:37.
Oh, God, we got plenty of time. An hour and 20-some minutes. The last drive-in's coming up. The countdown starts in 20 minutes. Support Joe Bob and his right to say whatever the fuck he wants. And if you don't like it, change the channel. Why are you watching the last drive-in if you don't like it anyhow? We don't come at your party. You don't come at our party. All right? Let's just make that deal right now. I mean, God, who needs to be told that rule? That rule has been around for hundreds of fucking years. Don't come to my party if you don't want to. I will come to your party if I don't want to. If I want to, I'll come to your party and I'll shut my fucking mouth if I don't like the entertainment, okay? That's how the world runs, motherfuckers. Do it. I will see you guys later. I'm going to get this camera over here before I offend anyone else. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next week. I have no idea what I'm doing next week because this is a shit show. There's your Dutch Baby Twitter. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the tweets. Thank you. And for my loyal YouTube followers, here is this delicious Dutch Baby. How amazing is that? Sweet. Yum. Thank you all so much. Nonsense. I'll see you guys in the tweets in about 45 minutes. Bye.